All right, class. First off, as always, a good day. I'm glad you're here. So today we're going to be looking at supply. Okay, we focused on demand, which demand is about you and me, buyers, the consumers. Okay, now you have to change your way of thinking and start thinking as the supplier, the business person. Okay, now let's look at the objective today. We're going to analyze why a company would want to sell high instead of low. It seems like pretty obvious, but some people don't understand, or they just can't get their mindset from consumer to supplier. We're going to examine the difference between supply and demand, and we're going to create an argument on whether consumers are to blame for prices being too high for some items. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at the warm-up picture. All right, so here is the warm-up picture, and if you notice at the bottom, the guy tells the lady, let me move this little thing right here. He tells her, I just sold the last T-bone, so this might take a while. Now, I have come to realize that talking to some of the students in class, that a lot of you guys don't know much about cows. And the fact of the thing is, T-bone steaks come from cows. Also, cows are very tough animals. I mean, they're like mooses. If you hit them with your car is going to get totaled. A cow will get hurt, but chances are it may not die. It might just be like, dude, why'd you hit me with the car? You suck. These things are massive animals. Okay, so that's the thing. That should really help you about what the guy has in his hands and what he's saying. Okay, so again, the first question asks you what's going on. The second one says, what is this artist trying to say about suppliers trying to give people what they want? How far would they go? To what lengths would they go to get you what you want? Okay, so go ahead, answer that. Okay, pause the video because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so supply is the amount of a product that would be offered for sale at possible prices that could prevail in the market. Two things with that. One, when they say sale, they don't mean sale like buy one, get one, buy three, get one free. They're not talking about that kind of sale. When you go to a store and you buy something to that company, that is a sale. You bought something, they sold you that. The word sale means sold, but in present tense. Okay, so try not to get those words confused, okay? The other thing is the last part of it, possible prices that could prevail in the market. Now, what does that mean? So let's say my little cup right here of water, right? I could sell it at eBay for $1,000, right? Sure, I can, right? No one's gonna stop me. But will somebody buy that for $1,000? Chances are no. Chances are no, they're not gonna buy it. Because why? Price is too high. Now, if I sold it for $5, then yeah, it'd probably be easier to sell. Because why? The price is lower. That's the thing. At a too high of a price, no one's gonna buy it. That's why they say that prices that could prevail. Because if it's too high, it won't sell. That's what prevail basically means. That's not gonna happen. Okay. But at a lower price, it's almost guaranteed that it's going to be sold. Problem is, the company, you will not get the maximum amount of money for that item. Okay, that's why if you notice, you go to the grocery store, the stuff that are about to be expired, the price is cheaper than the regular price stuff because they know this item is about to expire. We need to sell this for whatever price. They need something out of it. They'd rather sell it dirt cheap than have to throw it in the trash because it's now expired. Okay. So the law of supply, it's a principle that suppliers will normally offer more for sale at a high price and less at a low price. So like I gave the class an example. Let's say someone is offering to buy your shoes at a price that's like ridiculously high. Let's say at $5,000. And someone offering you to buy it for $10. Who are you going to sell the shoes to? $5,000 or the $10? Chances are you go to 5,000. Why? Because the price is too high. You can't pass it up. It's only common sense that you would sell um, anything at the higher price than a low price. That's the law of supply. You are willing to sell this at this point at this price than this price. Okay. So example, companies want to make as much money as possible. That is the number one thing about business. They want to make money. I don't care what businessman you talk to, or businesswoman, if they try to tell you something like, "Oh, I created my business to give people jobs, to make the community better," they're full of crap. That might be the second reason, third reason. Sure, maybe. But I am not going to believe them for a second that that's their number one reason they went into business. No, number one reason is to make money. Okay. So they want to make as much money as possible. So if they have like 10 items, whatever it is, they want to try to sell it at the highest possible point where people will buy it. Okay. Again, if they sell it low, it's a guarantee that they'll get rid of it, but they won't make a profit. They make it too high, they might only sell a little bit. So they have to find that little happy area where buyers will buy it and it's still high enough for them to make a profit. Okay. As price increases, the quantity supplied increases. So, like I gave you the example in class, if you have art class and you drew a little sketch and you put it in the back of your backpack, your clear backpack, somebody driving and they stop right next to you and they tell you, "I will buy that picture for $100." And another car stops right behind them saying, "I will buy that picture for $100." Are you going to be like, "Well, I only have one. I'm just going to sell one. That's all I have." Or are you going to try to create more? Chances are you're going to create more because if people are willing to pay $100 for just a little sketch, you're like, well, that's no problem. I can do that. So you're going to make a lot of pictures and sell them for $100, right? Little effort, little time, and you made $100. But if someone tells you, "Oh, I'll give you 2 pennies for that," you might just be like, "Well, here you can just have it." Are you going to be making a bunch of pictures to sell them for 2 cents? Chances are no, you're not. Why? Because the price is too high. You're like, why bother? I'll just give it to you for free. You know, that's the thing with businesses. If prices are high, people are willing to pay a high price, they're going to make more. If the price is too low, then they're like, well, why bother? Okay. So here's your first question. If you could open a business, what kind of business would you want to have? All right, so remember, this is a class assignment, so make sure it's school appropriate. Don't be putting anything that is not school appropriate that could get you in trouble, okay? So think of something legit, okay? So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in 3, 2. So supply schedule is just like the demand schedule. If you were here in class and we did the hamburger experiment thing where we put at a high price, say how many hamburgers would you buy at $100, at $50, $20, $10, $3, $2, right? We did that. Same thing goes with supply. Okay. If you notice on the chart, at $0, the number is zero at the bottom, the quantity. That's how much the company are going to sell. They are not going to sell anything at $0. That's automatic. Okay. That's automatic. No company is ever going to be like opening up the door and go, just take what you want, go for it. You don't have to pay. No, you don't have to pay for anything. Just go get what you want. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. But as prices go high, yeah, People want to pay, like this example of Starbucks, people want to pay for a $10 coffee drink. We'll make a ton of them if you want. If that's what you really want, we'll make a ton of those coffees for $10. But if you want coffee for $1, no. Okay. And that's what that line shows. The higher the price, the more the company's going to want to make that product. They'll make more of it as much as they can. Okay. But that's if you're willing to buy. Now, demand goes the opposite way. At $6, you're not going to buy any. Or let's say like coffee is like $10. Chances are you're not going to buy any. But if coffee, let's say Starbucks sells for $1, you might buy coffee for yourself, your mom, your dad, your coworkers, your friends. It's $1, you know. And if you buy 5 coffees, that's still about the same price as what you would pay for a regular coffee now. But the price went down to $1, you buy more, right? So you're going to buy more. So the demand curve goes like this. It starts high, goes low. Supply starts off low, goes high, and it makes like kind of an X um, on the graph when you combine the two. Okay. Now I know you guys have this on your papers. You don't have to do anything with this. This was something we did in class. Um, and I really wish you were here for it, but you weren't. So we'll just skip this for right now. So here's your next question. What is something that people buy that to you personally feel is way overpriced? Or that you see as like, that's a waste of money? You know, buying that's just a total waste. You're just throwing your money. Might as well take your money and put in a thing of fire, because that's what you're doing. Okay, so really sit down, take a minute and think, what is something that you feel is overpriced or is just a waste of money? All right, so we're going to be moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right, so quantity supply, that's the amount that producers bring to the market at any given price. Again, prices low, they're not going to be bringing out a lot. If the price is high, yeah, they'll bring out as much as they can. Now, just like in demand, there can be a change in quantity supplied. This is where the price is still the same, but the demand jumps for it. You know, the people want it more in a sense. So supply shifts, you know, just a bit. Now, the thing is too, if you notice, think about Takis when you were a kid. When they first came out, how much were those bags? Chances are, I saw a lot of them for like 50 cents. I remember when they first came out, they were like 50 cents a bag for the small bags. Again, I don't know how they were where you were usually shopping, but I remember them being for like 50 cents. Then they started getting really popular, and then the price jumped up. So yeah, when people like an item, the price goes higher. Now, there's a thing back in the day in the early 90s, there was a thing called the Crystal Clear Pepsi. They came out with it, people drank it, and it was kind of a weird taste. So some people were like, no, I don't like this. No. And it didn't really work out. So that product went away. All right, so that's the thing that if you notice, the price goes higher when things get more popular, and it tends to stay high. If you look at video games, back when they were, you know, 10 years ago, they were selling for $40. Then it jumped up to 60. Now, with the PS fives and the new Xbox systems, the games have jumped up to 70. And these are the basic, no extra things to it. Now, you're maybe thinking, well, why does the price keep going high? Because thing is, think about it. If we keep buying at those prices, we're basically telling the companies, we're okay with you having it at that price. Okay? We're okay with having you at that price. Think of it like this. if you don't believe me in that case, think like this. A video game at the store costs like $60 right now. If you go online, it costs the same amount. But shouldn't it be cheaper? Because if you buy it from the store, you're getting the disc, the plastic, the cover, the printed. So all that stuff costs money, right? So why wouldn't a digital game where there's no physical things that you need that the company needs to make, why is that the same price? Because again, they know you're going to buy this game, and because you keep buying it at this price, they know if they raise it and you keep buying it, you're basically saying it's okay. I'm fine with this. And if people say, well, you see all the time in the comment section on these game things, people saying, oh, it's so expensive. Why the price keep going high? Well, there you go, because you keep buying it. And think what would happen if everyone in this country just stopped buying a game. There you go. So now we come to the next question which is, are we, the consumers, are we truly to blame for all the prices of everything being so high? Why or why not? Do you think it's our fault that prices are high, or do you think it's companies? They're just greedy, so they're raising the prices. What do you think? And tell me. All right. So pause the video, write your response because we're moving on in 3, 2, 1. All right. So now we come to your exit ticket. So go ahead and pick one of these questions to answer. The first one says, what's a major difference between supply and demand? So that one's going to really require you to um, recall some information and basically compare the two. The other question is, what is your favorite store to go to and why? Okay. Now, I know some of you guys say like, oh, I have like 2, 3 favorite stores. Well, write them all down. Um, but the main thing is why? Why is that store your favorite? Also, some students in class have told me this week, well, what about online stores? That works too. Okay, but just make sure you tell me what store it is. But importantly, why? Why do you like that store? Okay, so once you're done with this exit ticket, you are done with the class. So you guys, you take care, you be safe, and I will see you later. Okay.